Hi, and welcome to another episode of Beth the Chef. Now, today we're going to do a bit of pastry work. It's a little bit from my childhood, and it's all inspired by those feast lollies. Now, I don't know if you remember them, but I've got very strong memories of eating feast lolly on Swamppool Beach as a child. And well, I'll show you a picture here. So that's the feast lolly, and you've got chocolatey centre, like chocolate ice cream, and then covered with chocolate shell. And we're going to use nuts for the shell. We're going to make the chocolate centre and a chocolatey semifreddo. And this is also a little nod to say how far I've come in chefing. And you know, like all chefs, a little bit of your childhood, it shows you how that can make you the person that you are today. So yeah, we've got a lot to crack on with. Without further ado, let's cook. So the first step is going to be toasting our nuts off. Hazelnuts. I know what you're thinking. But this is going to be covered with chocolate, and it's going to act as the shell to a lovely feast-inspired dessert. And yeah, I just love hazelnuts combined with chocolate. There we are. So there's 100 grams there. And yeah, just leave it until you see some colour start happening, some browning. And it won't take long. Yeah, once they've got nice colour, and they should smell good as well. Just finely chop them. Looking for about that size. And you want to get your moulds ready. Now I'll put a little picture up with a description, but this is called chocolate bar silicone moulds. And silicone moulds are great because you can just pop your dessert out, which you will see later on how easy it is. Yeah, I've got this from Amazon, and yeah, you'll see the price of how much it sets you back, but honestly, these are a very good buy, and you can go wild with creating your chocolate bars as well. Right, so I've got about half of the finely chopped hazelnuts here. I'll save the other half for later on. And I'm just going to put this all straight into a bowl, a larger bowl. As a heads up, make sure you've got some nice flat room in your freezer so you can put your mould nice and flat. Get the right shape. So in here is 125 grams of dark chocolate, and I'm just going to melt it in the microwave, but if you've not got one you can use a bain-marie. Right, so got my chocolate nice and melted, and it's all just going to go straight into the hazelnuts. Every last bit there. And now I'm just pushing evenly into the moulds. And try and get up the sides a bit there. We are, so it's quite a time consuming job, but you get there. And this is just going to go straight into the freezer. Right, now for the centre, which I'm going to make a ganache really. And then we're going to get it to a pipeable consistency. I'm going to get a tray, line it with greaseproof, pipe it to just smaller than our moulds, and freeze it. And trust me, in my head there's a method in the madness. Whether it will work or not, who knows, we're in it together, right? So on a low heat goes 75 mils of double cream, and in that bowl there is just 75 grams of dark chocolate. And yeah, I've done the ganache before in the Black Forest macaroons video, but I'm just heating the cream up to just before boiling. You start seeing a few bubbles. It will go straight into the bowl and melt the chocolate. Now, yeah, feast lollies are top of the list, but I have to say closely behind it is the Noble Twister lolly. If you will remember these. And Solero. Solero was a good lolly. And yeah, starts to melt it. I love that marble look you get on there. Right, so my ganache is pipeable consistency now. Just got a little tray lined with paper, greaseproof paper. Piping bag ready. And in we go. Now obviously you want to do as many of these lines as you've got with the moulds, and we've got 7 moulds prepped. Now I'm just going to cut a small hole. Not that big. And yeah, just a little bit smaller than your mould. Can always just do little dots on the tray to actually hold it down. Yeah. like so. So a semifreddo, it originates from Italy, really. Inspiration from French parfait. But it translates to semi-frozen. And the difference between a semifreddo and ice cream is if you think of ice cream, and in the past video with the sea buckthorn ice cream, it's the same method of doing custard, essentially frozen custard. But as you'll see in a moment with semifreddo, it is a different technique and semi-frozen due to whipping up your eggs, almost like a meringue. And yeah, it's creates a slightly different texture. Personally, I think it's a little bit creamier. Right, so I've got all my ingredients gathered up for the semifreddo, and just for a little contrast in flavours, and it's not in a way sweet upon sweet upon sweet with the chocolate. I'm going to put a bit of ginger in, and this is going to be Ginger and Hazelnut Semifreddo, which will also combine very nicely with our strawberries later. We're going to do some nice strawberry art, which will all make sense later on. So in here, in a pan, I've got 335 grams of caster sugar. Need 75 mils of water, just cold water from the tap. Yeah, that's 6 eggs that have been separated. For the ginger, just going to need a tablespoon later on. The remainder of the hazelnuts and our double cream. Now I'll weigh out the double cream later on, but we're going to need 390 mils of it. But our first stage is, think of it in the same process as Italian meringue. I'm going to add the water to the sugar and put it on a low heat. Don't stir it or anything, but we need it to reach 118 degrees. It's just on a low heat there. In the meantime, I'm going to get the electric mixer ready and lightly whip up the egg yolks. Leave it, and then yeah, we'll combine the sugar. Right, here we go. Get that bit off. And you're aiming for something like this. It's expanded and looks very pale in colour, nice cream colour. And what we're going to do is just transfer this into a larger bowl, and I'm going to need to clean it out, get our mixing bowl clean and dry, because later on we're going to whip our egg whites. But our next stage will be to whip the cream. I'm just going to whip it in a bowl by hand, simply because I don't want to do the dishes 3 times, to be honest. So here's my cream. And yeah, I've got it to soft peaks here. Because what I'm going to do now is fold in my ginger. We are a level tablespoon. And well, I'll give this a quick mix through first. And it should actually change colour to resemble a little bit more of that ice cream in a feast lolly. So now I'm gradually adding my hazelnuts. Right, so I've got the egg yolk mix here, cream and my egg whites. So I'll just put this to one side. And the first bit to this is gradually folding the cream into the egg yolks. Now I fold this in and then finally the egg whites, just because you don't want twice as much folding action and flatten your egg whites out. Now this makes a fair bit, so any leftovers just pop straight in a tub in the freezer, and yeah, maybe a dessert for a nice barbecue, who knows. I reckon this would go with, say if you put bananas on a barbecue, I think that would be beautiful. There we go. And gradually fold in your whites. Now I've just got my ganache out because it's set nicely, and my moulds here from the freezer, which are firm. And what I'm going to do, show you with one. So I'm spooning the semifreddo to about halfway. Make sure it gets in every corner. And we're going to lightly, because it's still a bit delicate. Yeah. Get one piece of the ganache. And in the middle it goes. And then just fill it up with meaning of the Semifreddo. And yeah, do this to each one and put it in the freezer. And because they're smaller, it might take a little quicker, but usually takes about 6 hours to freeze and set. Right, and for your strawberry rose, just want to get a big strawberry and keep the stem on there, because we're going to use that to sort of hold your rose up. You want a little knife, and if you can see that, don't go in all the way, but make a curve. And do that along the bottom. And then if you think like scales, between the gap here, the V, you want to go along with more between the, you get what I mean. Again, don't go in all the way through. When you get to the top, slice through there. And push it out, just lightly push on the top and twist. All takes time with this, but you can get a little rose shape there. Right, so we're gonna assemble our dish, and just very carefully pop them out. And if we cut it in the middle, you're able to see the chocolatey centre. Let's get another one there. And top goes our little rose. And there we have it. So it's our feast inspired ice cream. So the dark chocolate shell, the chocolate ganache centre, and then around that the ginger and hazelnut semifreddo, all complete with a strawberry rose. So spread the word, Beth the chef, and next week we're going to continue with memories, doing it for the Cornish. We're doing Cornish pasties. Yes, bon appetit.